You ever wanted to come into a sports bar where the barkeeps know their game? Well, the Jeff Beecham Network Multiverse of Media has got a production just for you. Sit down and relax as the stat boy and his partner break down the statistics in all things sports. Whether it's football, basketball, motorsports, baseball, hockey, soccer, professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, boxing, and much, much more. All are welcome. Your barkeeps here keep you up to date and in the know of everything going on in sports, while also having a pleasant conversation about it all. Your host and owner of the bar, Stat Boy Mike. His partner in crime, Dory Lou. And a host of other guests coming in. The food's hot, the seats are warm, the drinks are ice cold, and the sports talk is plentiful. Cassidy 18 Studios presents Stat Boy Sports Bar. Take a bar stool and enjoy the show.
Hello, my internet fans. We are back. We are live. We are in the sports bar on this little bit of a rainy, wet, soaked-filled day here in Sevier County, Tennessee on July 23rd, 2024. We had a huge storm the other day, a couple days ago. Boy, oh boy, it was, and let me tell you, it was no picnic to drive through, but it sure was pretty. Anyway, I'm glad to be back in the sports bar after a little tiny break. A lot has happened, so we'll get you caught up as best we possibly can. So about two or 3 weeks ago, the 2015 Kia Sportage decided I'm not going to turn over one day. And lo and behold, find out it's a fuel pump issue. But finally, I get it fixed. Unfortunately, that put a damper on my Instacarting, and which kind of put a damper on plans. We were supposed to go to the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville about 2 weeks ago. That didn't happen either, but hey, there's always next year, and they're coming up in Orlando in September, so that's a possibility as well. But at least the car is A-okay, and getting back into the things as we're getting closer and closer to closing out the summer, and we're getting into the fall. School's going to be starting up soon. It is back to school season where I work, and that's going to be happening as well. A lot of stuff in the sports world to talk about, so let's just dive right in. We start, of course, with the world's oldest sport, and that would be golf, the Barracuda Championship in Truckee, California. Your winner is Nick Dunlap. Now, if you remember that name, he was an amateur in the beginning of the year, and he has got one of the cool stats here. And this news report comes directly from PGA.com, written by the Associated Press. As the headline reads, Nick Dunlap wins Barracuda Championship, becomes first player in PGA Tour history to win as an amateur and a pro in the same year. Rallying Sunday for a 2-point victory in the Barracuda Championship. In January at the American Express in La Quinta, the 20-year-old Dunlap, then a sophomore at the University of Alabama, became the 8th amateur to win a tour event and the first in 33 years. He turned professional days later. On Sunday at Tahoe Mountain Club, in the only PGA Tour event that uses the modified Stableford scoring system, Dunlop took the lead with a 55-foot eagle putt on the par 5 15th. Now, the modified Stableford scoring system, if you remember from last year, you earn points. It's not standard scoring where the shortest or the smallest number of strokes wins. You earn points for how many strokes it takes. So a par is worth a certain amount of points, a birdie is worth a certain amount of points, and an eagle is worth points. So and this is the only event that does that. Reading on, as we scroll down, players receive 8 points for a double eagle, which could probably be a hole in one, 5 for an eagle and 2 for a birdie. A point is deducted for bogeys and 3 for double bogeys. Dunlop added a birdie on the par 4 17th, cutting the dog leg with a 304-yard drive and chipping to 3 feet. So congratulations, Nick, on that accomplishment. And of course, always remember that they are playing to get to the FedEx Cup Championship. It will be a 3-tournament event. The top 70 advance. These are your top 10. Scotty Scheffler is still the number 1 player with almost 6,000 FedEx Cup points. Xander Schauffele is at 40.57. Rory McIlroy at 25.45. Colin Morikawa at 24.56. Wyndham Clark at 21.54. Ludwig Aberg at 20.92. Sahith Theegala at 19.45. Hideki Matsuyama at 18.99. Sung Jae Im at 18.83. And Shane Lowry at 18.67 rounds out your top 10. Now, to get you quickly caught up, here are all the winners of all the events that have taken place in 2024. The last 4 being the Genesis Scottish Open, which was won by Robert McIntyre. I do believe that was the last one I reported on before I went on my break. The ISCO Championship was won by Harry Hall, and the Open Championship was won by Xander Schauffele. So we're getting closer and closer towards the end. The Dana Open in Sylvania, Ohio, was won by Shanette Wanasayan. Let's bring up that report, found directly on lpga.com. And this report is written by them. On Championship Sunday in Toledo, Thailand's Shanette Wanasayan claimed her second LPGA Tour victory in as many years on tour, winning the Dana Open by 1 stroke over her fellow LPGA Tour sophomore, Hairan Ryu. Shooting her 4th round in the 60s with a final day 67, this second victory comes just 2 weeks before Wanasayan is set to defend her title at the Portland Classic, and 1 week after the Thai golfer posted her best major championship result at the Amundi Evian Championship. Feeling confident at the top of her game, Wanasayan showed her best golf at Highlands Meadow Golf Club, setting a new career low 36 and 54 hole scores, and ultimately finished 20 under par with a score of 264. The ladies are racing to the CME Globe. Nelly Korda is still your number 1 player at 33.19. Ayaka Fiore at 20.82. Hannah Green at 15.50. Hairan Ryu at 13.16. Ali Ewing at 12.39. Lydia Ko at 11.92. Patty Tavana-Tanakit at 11.27. Brooke M. Henderson at 1100. Lilia Vu at 10.56 and Maya Stark at 10.30. And here's what the ladies have been doing all season. The last 3, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship was won by Amy Yang. The Dow Championship was the last one I reported on. It was a team event won by Ataya Titakul and Yin Runin, and Ayaka Fiore won the Amundi Evian Championship. All right, moving on to tennis. 4 big events took place this last weekend. Wimbledon was during the break, and the classic rivalry between Alcaraz and Djokovic continued again, and Alcaraz came through in that one. That's going to be one of the best tennis rivalries ever. The Hamburg Open was won by Arthur Fils. The Hall of Fame Open was won by Marcos Giron. The Swedish Open was won by Nuno Borges, and the Swiss Open was won by Matteo Berrettini. Now, if you notice Arthur Phil's picture, this is what prompted me to discuss this a little bit in detail. It's not your typical championship photo. As you can see, the other three winners, they're doing the traditional either kiss the trophy, hold up the trophy, pose with the trophy, smile with the trophy. Arthur here is like, yeah, I won. Here's why, and here's what happened. This report coming in from Talksport.com, written by Martha Riley. Umpire forced to separate Alexander Zverev and Arthur Fils as Rowe erupts in bad-tempered final. Arthur Fils clinched the Hamburg Open in controversial fashion as he won an explosive final against Alexander Zverev. The Frenchman edged the world number 4 with a 6-3, 3-6, 7-6 victory, but a fiery moment toward the end of the deciding set will go down as the game's major talking point. With the score locked at 5-5 in the third set and facing a break point means when the receiver of the serve is in a position to score. In tennis, the server is supposed to score the point. But if the receiver on defense, technically, scores the point, it's called a break point, meaning you have broken your serve. Therefore, it's called a break point. With the score locked at 5-5 in the third set and facing a break point, Fils attempted an underarm serve. The traditional serve is ball in hand, ball goes up, over behind the head, down with a grunt for added force. Fils did it almost as if you're kind of like you're playing tennis for fun. You're being silly. You're just learning how to play tennis. Fils attempted an underarm serve, which was initially called in, but was later judged to have been out after a review. Although the 20-year-old regrouped to win both the point and eventually the game, the cheeky attempt managed to infuriate both Zverev and the home crowd, who resorted to booing. After noticing the German's clear disapproval at the shot choice, Fils then confronted his opponent at the changeover. The changeover, of course, is when they change sides on odd-numbered games. So at the end of game 1, 3, 5, and 7 in a set, they switch sides. Things soon got heated as the French star appeared increasingly frustrated with Zverev, who reportedly accused his counterpart of having zero respect. The situation was quickly diffused as umpire Timo Jansen left his chair to separate the two players, with the crowd continuing to jeer Fils as he was escorted away. The hostile reception did little to impact his game, however, with Fils ultimately winning the decisive tiebreak to secure the match and the tournament, his first ever ATP 500 title. So, yes, he won, but it's easily said that he won dirty. There are traditions and, of course, rules in all sports. A traditional golf swing, start down, head down, hands interlocked, go all the way back, swing, follow through, pose for the camera a little bit, release the club, camera's on you, ball drops, play the ball where it lies, all that good stuff. Same thing in tennis. Ball goes up, overhead swing, down, grunt for power, optional. But to just do a dinky little underhanded, like you're playing ping pong almost, like you're playing table tennis, you're a professional. You got to stay professional, You got to play to win. So apparently that didn't happen. Cheers to the crowd and whatever. He will go down as the winner, but could be just a little bit dirty. Not the traditional way it's supposed to take place. The ladies in the WTA played in the Palmero Ladies Open. Your winner was Qinwen Zhang. And in the Budapest Grand Prix in Budapest, Hungary, Diana Schneider won as well. Let me go back quickly. Yannick Sinner is still your number one in the ATP at 6,200. Carlos Alcaraz at 5,950. Alexander Zverev is at 5,115. Daniel Medvedev at 4,000. Casper Ruud at 3,485. The Joker, Novak Djokovic at 3,160, makes his way into the top 8. Alex de Minaur at 2,905. And, of course, my countryman from Greece, Stefanos Tsitsipas, at 2,665. These 8 competitors are trying to stay in the top 8 so they can get to Turin, Italy at the end of the season. Those 8 players will go for the ATP Championship. Going back to the ladies, Iga Swiatek is still your number one player at 74.65. Elena Rybakina at 49.01. Jasmine Paolini at 45.05. Anya Sabalenka at 44.66, Coco Gauff at 35.98, Danielle Collins at 31.67, Barbara Krejcikova at 26.16, and Kenwen Zhen at 25.20. All right, NASCAR up next. They were in Indianapolis at the Brickyard 400, one of the most iconic racetracks. And let's bring up this story. Taken directly from NASCAR.com. Kyle Larson surges to front late, wins first Brickyard 400. Larson claimed victory piloting the special number 5 HendricksCar.com paint scheme that he wasn't able to run during the Coca-Cola 600 in May when he attempted the Memorial Day weekend double. It's the 4th win of 2024 for Larson and 27th in his Cup Series career. With strategy shakeups in the closing laps, Larson surgically moved his way through the field from outside the top 20 at full song while the frontrunners tried saving fuel to the end. Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, and Bubba Wallace rounded out the top 5. NASCAR will now go on a 2-week break for the Summer Olympics with the Cup Series returning August 11th at Richmond Raceway. There are 4 races left in the regular season. So we're on a bit of a break. How about that? So let's take a look at the schedule here. Let me bring up the races that were taking place during my little hiatus, if that's what you want to call it. Hiatus, break, whatever it is. On June, we did the Alley 400. That was Joey Logano. The Grant Park 165 in Chicago was won by Alex Bowman, and the Great American Getaway 400 presented by Visit PA in Pocono, that was won by Ryan Blaney. So the next 4 races, or the next races to finish out the season, are the Cookout 400 at August 11th. That's in Richmond, Virginia. Then there's the Firekeepers Casino 400 in Michigan, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 in Daytona, and then the Cookout Southern 500 in Darlington. And then we go to the playoffs, starting in Atlanta, then they go to New York, then they come to our house back in Bristol for the night race. Still haven't decided if we're doing that yet. Could be a possibility. Never say never. We don't know yet. Be nice to go out to Bristol again because I want to use these darn things. Never got a chance to use these, but I wanted to. And then the playoffs go down from 16 to 12. They go to Kansas. They go to October down in Talladega, Alabama. They do the Roval in Concord, North Carolina. Then they chop down to 8. Then they hit Las Vegas and Homestead, Miami in Florida. And then the Xfinity 500 in Martinsville, Virginia. And then finally the NASCAR Cup Series Championship in Phoenix. So we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs. Kyle Larson is your regular season leader at 749 points. Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and Denny Hamlin are your Mount Rushmore, your top 4 right now. Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., and Christopher Bell are in the top 8. Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs, and Chris Boucher and make up the top 12. Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Chase Briscoe round out the top 16. Remember, you want to be in the top 16 to be in the playoffs. The races will still count for something. You just don't want to be one of those players or racers on the bubble. Because if you're on the bubble, you are out eventually. The Pennzoil 250 took place. Riley Herbst won that race in his number 98 Ford. And the one I love saying the most, Cole Custer in the double aught Ford took second place, but he is leading overall in the playoffs at 761. The top 12 get in for that. Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, Chandler Smith, Riley Herbst, AJ Allmendinger, Jesse Love, Sheldon Creed, Parker Kligerman, Ryan Sieg, Sammy Smith, and Shane Van Gisbergen finish out the top 12. Then they go into their playoffs. And the T-Sport 200 took place in the Truck Series. They are getting closer and closer as well. Ty Majeski in the 98 Ford for ThorSport Racing won that race. Christian X, Grant Effinger, Tyler Ankrum, Lane Riggs, Sammy Smith, Luke Fenhouse, Roger Carruth, Dean Thompson, and Nicholas Sanchez in his number 2 Chevrolet. So a 2-week break while we talk about the Olympics. Almost. One more thing to talk about, and that's the WNBA. Then we'll talk about the Olympics. The New York Liberty are your number 1 team at 21-4, followed by the Connecticut Sun at 18-6. Minnesota Lynx and Seattle Storm are tied at 17-8. The defending champion Las Vegas Aces are at 16-8. Phoenix Mercury at 13-12. Indiana Fever at 11-15. Chicago Sky at 10-14, Atlanta Dream at 7-17, LA Sparks at 6-18. The Mystics and the Wings are at 6-19. It is a 40-game season. The top 8 teams get in. They just got done with All-Star break, so soon, within probably the next couple of weeks, teams will start to clinch. Right, and right now, the Indiana Fever, even though they are below 500 and they are at 11-15, they are still the number 7 ranked team. So right now, if the playoffs started today, and the structure is, it's the top 8 teams, regardless of conference, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever would be qualified for the WNBA Finals. But there are still 15 or 14 games to play, depending on how you look at it. So we'll see where that goes. All righty. Let's take out the graphics because I am done with those. And that's basically all the main news, but we still have other news to go. I see a very good. Okay, that's good to know. Very good. All right. So, yes, thank you. Big Baller G, once football season starts, I'll make my grand return to the sports bar. Thank you, Big Baller G. Absolutely. You are more than welcome. You have an open invitation to pop into the sports bar at any time. All righty. Now, as mentioned, with the Olympics coming up, a very interesting story that Mr. Meacham here has brought up. And I will read this story as it is written off of USA Today. And this also involves a little bit of wrestling because it involves Logan Paul and Prime. So this is from USA Today, written by Max Hauptman, Hauptman, Hauptman. And this story came out yesterday. The headline reads, let me make sure I have this right. I want to get this perfectly. U.S. Olympic Committee sues Logan Paul's Prime Energy drink over copyright violation claims. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee is suing an energy drink brand affiliated with a pair of YouTube stars, accusing the company of trademark infringement. In a lawsuit filed in the United States District Court for the Court of Colorado on Friday, the Olympic Committee alleges YouTube stars Logan Paul and KSI's energy drink company Prime has been using trademark symbols and phrases as part of a recent promotion featuring NBA star and 2024 USA men's basketball team member Kevin Durant. The lawsuit describes Prime Hydration's marketing campaign as, quote, willful, deliberate, and in bad faith, end quote, in its use of trademark phrases and symbols associated with the upcoming 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. According to the lawsuit, the energy drink brand repeatedly uses, quote, Olympic-related terminology and trademarks in its product packaging and in online advertising campaigns with Durant. The phrases include Olympic, Olympian, Team USA, and Going for Gold, according to the lawsuit. Advertising copy included in the lawsuit for various Prime products show repeated references to phrases such as, quote, Kevin Durant Olympic Prime drink, and, quote, celebrate greatness with the Kevin Durant Olympic Prime drink, along with Olympic achievements and Kevin Durant Olympic legacy. Yeah. As of Monday, the posts cited in the lawsuit were no longer visible on Prime Hydration's social media channels, including Instagram and LinkedIn. According to the lawsuit, the Olympic Committee contacted Prime Hydration on July 10th, 2 weeks ago, requesting that the company stop using all trademarked phrases in advertising materials. Those warnings apparently went unheeded as the brand continues to feature advertising on multiple platforms featuring Durant holding up specifically branded bottles of the beverage.
Right.
This isn't the first time criticism has been leveled at the YouTube star-fronted energy drink brand.
Well, right, but the stuff before now is not tied in. I was going to try to tell you that during the talk before the show. We didn't have a chance to break it down. So
okay, we can stop.
So no. So basically, what happened was, hold on, I'm not. Logan is. Kevin Durant is. Well, I don't think Kevin had anything to do with it, really, except being part of the advertising. So when it comes to having the phrases and the Olympic logo and everything on beverages, the Coca-Cola company has those trademarks authorized by the U.S. Olympic Committee, right? Apparently, the folks at Prime have not obtained that authorization, obtained that approval, and went ahead with it anyway based on an assumption. Well, we all know what's happening when you assume, ladies and gentlemen. So
ASSUME.
Exactly. So, like you said, and the story said, 2 weeks ago, these requests were issued to cease and desist, and they were ignored in typical Logan Paul fashion. And you pointed out to me pre-show that Logan Paul wanted to defend himself on TikTok. So we've got a social media entertainment personality getting accused rightly of something that he did outside of the legal realm of things, and defending himself on one of his social media outlets rather than having his lawyers handle it. Gee, Mr. Paul, that's funny how that happens during election season and during the Olympics ceremony. Anyway. I give no fucks.
He went there, folks. He's allowed.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, my name's not on there, but you can kind of see my name up there, really, really tiny in the top corner there. Mm-hmm. So I just found it funny because the story was brought to me in a group chat. I found it funny that the United States champion of WWE, who's a Peacock partner, by the way, who's an NBC Universal partner, is being sued by the Olympic Committee, who's been broadcast on the NBC networks for as long as I can remember, in the lead up to the opening ceremonies. And actually, events start, I think, tomorrow. Events actually start tomorrow on Peacock, and there's some soccer going on and everything like that. So we're already having events starting tomorrow, and we can't even get out of the week without somebody from WWE causing shit. It's just so funny to me that this is happening because people aren't, taking time to do the due diligence on things and actually make sure everything is kosher before they move ahead with a campaign or a whatever. Once again, social media folks and keeping in legalities do not mesh up. It never ceases to happen, ladies and gentlemen, and it's kind of sad.
Indeed, it is, and I'm not certain if this lawsuit is going to hurt Logan Paul in any way, shape, or form. We'll find out at SummerSlam on August 3rd when he takes on LA Knight. And and honestly, I was going to say this. It's no secret that I am not an advocate of long title reigns with less title defenses. Because let's face it, I might even say when he first got the title that it might not be a good idea because he won't show up, and
Right.
I think his match count. I mean, he's probably up to 20 or 30 matches. I haven't done the numbers on that one. He has had the belt for over 200 days, and he is just not defending it. So it's the early prediction. The story is going great. With what's going on. I will give Logan Paul a little bit of credit. He almost put LA Knight in his place during the contract signing.
Yes,
so
he did.
We'll give him that. But right now, odds-on favorite here, that belt's going to LA Knight. At least he'll defend it and he'll make it worth something again.
Well, but again, the idea of WWE having one of their championships regularly on a regularly aired podcast or stream or whatever is appealing to them. And Logan Paul, like him or not, definitely has the media buzz around him. And unfortunately this week, maybe not as good. But the story is there, and Logan Paul's media attention is always there. So it as much as we want to see our boy Shawn Ricker become a champion at WWE, unfortunately that's not the way the world works. Hopefully it does in Cleveland. I have a feeling Sami Zayn's going to lose his title to Braun Breaker, so I don't know if they're going to switch both championships. However, if a heel's holding the Intercontinental Championship, then why not have babyface hold the U.S. Championship, just so it's balanced? Because I have the distinct feeling we're going to have a new world champion, which would make the world champion on the brand a heel. I mean, Gunther will be a heel, which means they'll both be heel on as far as the champions being on Raw. SmackDown, man, I don't know how to call the Solo Sikoa thing with Cody, because there's a lot of talk about him being the champion. So if he wins, that means that there's a heel, for lack of a better term, world champion or heavyweight champion, and then the U.S. champion's a babyface. So that balances out too.
Yeah, I've discussed this with Dory Lou. We had a great talk over a lunch outing during the 2 weeks. Sure. Rumors have been popping up that Roman's going to come back at SummerSlam to officially make the challenge and all that. My problem with this is, I'm glad Cody finished the story, got the belt at WrestleMania. Okay.
Yes.
We're only 5 or 6 months in to the year, or since WrestleMania. WrestleMania is April. We're going into August, so we're 4 months in. I do not see Solo as a championship material talent. I'm sorry. Cody said it on point with the promo before the pay-per-view. You're not the head of the table. You're a seat filler. You're not the tribal chief. Right. You're a seat filler. Excellent. Right. If Cody came up with that himself, way to go. If there was the writing staff, even better. But hey, so I don't want to see Solo versus Roman for the title. I want to see Roman back as the tribal chief of the bloodline, because, we took out Paul Heyman. We brought in people that I hardly know on. Jay is doing his thing.
For now.
Rikishi's not happy about that. Rikishi is very vocal on how they are mistreating his son. And that's the dad. That's the dad. That's not.
I get a father defending the son. Trust me, after this last week, I get a father defending his son. I understand how that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
And I love Junior. I love Keish. I do. But I don't think Jay or Jimmy are ever, despite the nickname on Jey Uso, I don't ever think either one of those guys are going to be the main event as far as holding the title.
Right.
Chasing the title, being in the main events is one thing. Holding those championships are a completely different situation. However, anything, and I'm watching old, 1994 wrestling right now. I just got into February last night. Anything can happen in the WWE. So we'll see what happens on the road to SummerSlam. But we've got quite a bit here across the multiverse that's going to be happening on this last little leg to SummerSlam. And since we did get through all the news, kind of go ahead and go and get into the shills, and we'll do our thing. So, of course, coming up tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific across the entirety of the multiverse. We will once again have our coverage of NXT as we draw nearer to the next 2 weeks and the Great American Bash. That'll be at 7:30 Eastern tonight, 4:30 Pacific. We have a chat in there. I want to make sure I'm going to – oh, you have a hello in the chat room, so we'll go ahead and throw that up there really quick.
That is whom I briefly talked about.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That is my work friend. That is
okay. Well, hello.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. That is my girlfriend.
Oh, there you go. Nice. There you go.
That boy is no longer single. That's her.
God. No longer single and he's mingling. Watch out, Sevier County. We're all in trouble. It's going to be severe for sure. Anyway, so of course Wednesday is Luck of the Draw, a special episode of the Greg Cherry Show. He's doing Luck of the Draw this week in that time slot just because it worked out for him. We, throughout the rest of the multiverse, will be, of course, live at 7:30 Eastern on Wednesday with our coverage of AEW Dynamite featuring the Blood and Guts match. We mentioned the U.S. Championship earlier with Logan Paul. Thursday, JJ and I will be on with the dads and always on wrestling as we reveal the choices that we've come to for the top 10 individuals to hold both the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. Championship. And yes, I'm going back all the way to the beginning, and we kind of ranked them from there. After dads, not right after, but close to it at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, if I can get the bloody thing to load. There it goes. We'll have our coverage of Impact and the fallout from Slammiversary this past weekend. We have a new world champion in Nick Nemeth. We have so much going on to talk about on Impact, and then we'll be simply predicting Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor Thursday night at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and of course, Death Before Dishonor itself will be covered beginning 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific on Friday. Saturday, we now have almost a dual stream, a simulcast, if you will, because we've got UFC 304 beginning at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific with James and Walter on the call. And at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, Noah and JJ will be live with AEW Battle of the Belts that won't change hands, 11 on TNT on that. So we'll be covering that. And of course, once everybody's done with their respective shenanigans, we'll start our own shenanigans because Open Mic Night goes live 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. GCW and Josh Barnett present Bloodsport Sunday night, July 28th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. We'll be on the call for that with with James and Walter. I'll be back, of course, Monday meetings to talk about what's going on next week because we're not done, folks. And then right back here next week, the return continues with the Snap Boy Sports Bar, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. The cycle repeats. It's like a washing machine that just won't fucking stop. Anyway, there you go.
And so much for keeping my private life private when I put it out there, So
and I'd like to point out that unlike other parts of my life this week, there was no coercion attempted. He did it of his own volition.
Yeah, I did. I had to. So,
there you go.
But yes, it is true. I am in a relationship, but that's all I'm going to say about it. Everything else, Thank you, love. There it is.
There you go.
I'm glad I sent you the link to watch the show. So of course you're going to watch the show.
Love is brewing. There's a spark hot in the air, folks. You love to see it. Anyway,
stop it.
If you know,
to keep myself from further digging my own grave and sticking my foot in my mouth and saying things that I'm not going to want to, I'm going to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, we're going to be back in the sports bar an hour earlier now. Our new time is 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're doing that for the NXT watch-alongs that'll be coming up and all that good stuff. So that's going to be a permanent thing then. And as long as the schedule stays the same, I will be sitting here giving the news. Now, also remember, there's not much news. If the show seems like it's going through quick, it's because it's not football season yet. But we're getting closer and closer and closer to it. Football season comes back and we go back into our regular format. We may have hour-long shows and all that good stuff. There you go.
You better sign off before you get in trouble.
No. I don't think anything will happen of it. And if it does, oh well. It's life. Until next week, family. Be good to each other. Love each other. I know I do. I love my family. I love all you guys. I'll see you all next week. Stat Boy out.